Is reality something we can know, or is it something that we just make up? And if it's something we know, we can know, how do we discover? And generally that's through basic perceptions. And through those perceptions, common representations for everything can be made. And you don't really have to know anything to an absolute degree necessarily to make conclusions. Just out here, I can make the conclusion that nothing's really so important to this conversation. And basically through enough of your own experience with things such as just unpleasant experiences with the things we can perceive in what we call reality. We can make conclusions with those experiences, and enough people can already say that those things suck. There's no purpose. And typically anyone who says there is some redemption for all the negative that we perceive, whether it can be proved to an absolute degree or not, that it has any value. It's still enough to compel us away from being just utterly in discontent. And I think that should be all. There's nothing really, if you want to disagree with that people should just move away from uncomfortable experiences altogether, then what reality are you basing that reasoning on? And if you're not going to really agree that there is a reality to base anything on, then, like I said, why do anything? There's nothing to accomplish. It is just a void. If you remove everything that is apparent, it is just empty. But, of course, I'm going to argue that if we can take into account everything that is what we call apparent, then there's no reason to continue the experience. Basing reality just on your basic perceptions. And if you can't even agree on that, then it's like it is really like talking to just something that doesn't think, that doesn't have a brain. And that's just sucks. If you want to reduce everything to apparent matter and energy, it's not going to do you any favors in your own experience with life in the long run. And even if it doesn't affect you that much, it's going to affect other people. So that's where it is. I mean, it's just a war. And if you don't want to encounter that, it would be in your interest. Everyone's interest just to shut it all down. Because beyond the experience, there's nothing going on. Regardless of whether we do just place value or that value placing is beyond us also, it's going to be in your interest in the end, regardless of what you say about it now. Because everything we can draw upon with our basic perceptions tells us that. We're going nowhere. If you want to argue about voids, there is no we. There is anything you can draw upon which is just anything that's apparent. There is none of that. So it's just a non. You can't do anything. And is it inconsistent to say there are imperatives when you can also argue that there is a void? That's all? That there is no thing? It's not inconsistent with what's apparent. And since we can interact with what's only apparent because we are only apparent, I don't see any inconsistency. But if you want to take it all the way, I'm going to argue that the only ultimate way to realize any of this is through being very uncomfortable. To the point point of dying. And a lot of people aren't going to get any of that. Well, a lot of people have any reason to want to be in this conversation. They're not going to get an experience that's going to alter their thoughts. And that's just futile. Because they're gonna, I mean, you can beat them. You can throw what's called, I mean, you can shove, well, we can base all of reality on with logic, just observation, examination, and it's not gonna, I mean, for people who are only in it for themselves, there's nothing really to say. I mean, if you want to use your mind as a weapon, and I'm gonna have to do the same to people like that, or you. And, you know, for me, it's just to end. It's just for the end. There. Is there anything else to say? Oh yeah, you said something about people. I'm not sure if you were being sarcastic. Most of the time, I mean, is it worth even finding out if you're honestly saying some stuff? I mean,